So to start this painting, all we have to do is put some burnt sienna down here with a bit of white, and then you will have something that looks like a hardwood floor. Simple as that. Just drag your brush across and you'll have this straight across, okay? And then you'll get this floor that looks like hardwood. That's simple. There we go. Need a bit more, just drag some more across. All right. That's all we have to do. Trying to get it straight so that it looks like the wood. See? Good. That's your floor. We'll take off our tape, and we will do the background up here as if it's a wall. So let's just put our burnt sienna and white and some yellow. I'll just add some colors so it won't be so. I'm going to make it over here now because it was a bit too dark. All right, and I'm going to use that for a background. It's too dark. Just keep moving away from it until you get the brightness that you want. See, I like that one. I kind of like that one. Decide which one you like, and then you can use whatever one you think is best. So I'm just going to use that one. It's just for a wall, for a background. We don't need much of a background because the whole painting is surrounding the Christmas idea. So this is just a background to lay it on. Good. And when this dries, then we can take our pattern and we can lay it on there and we can draw it out. Now, you could easily draw it freehand, but I'm going to show you how to use the pattern so that you'll know what to put on the canvas, okay? What you can use the pattern for. So far, so good. When you get down here, use the chiseled edge so that you can keep that line straight. Now, you don't have to worry about that line over there too much. That's where the tree is going to go. But when you get over here, you want to try to keep it straight so that the background looks like a nice floor against a wall. And that's pretty simple to make a hardwood floor, see? Once you get that part down there, you don't have to go near that line anymore then. Then you can just add on your extra layers that you want, or if you want to touch up. See? So that's a nice little background. It's just plain because we don't want to distract. We don't want to have windows and all kinds of stuff in the background. You know, something to distract, so we don't want that. So we'll dry that, and then we will add our pattern. So we'll just put our pattern on our canvas, and depending on the size of your canvas, that's an 8.5 by 11, or a little bigger. And the print that I did was 8.5 by 11. But if you want to if you want to use a big canvas, like a 16 by 20 or, you know, whatever, then you have to print off your pattern as big as that. The only way you can do that is go to a print shop, and then you just put some carbon paper underneath there, and then you use a pen and you draw out what you want from the pattern. So if you want this little skirt, and this is very important, you might be able to do the tree yourself, and you might want to draw these out, or you might just want to do them freehand, but whatever is important to you, that you think it will help you, then draw it out. So just draw out what you think you need, and I just took this out here and I just drew a couple of things that I thought I need. Tell you some idea where the tree and the bulbs are, little legs, a few little boxes underneath there. So I didn't really use the reference photo in full. Just my most important thing was the person standing there. I thought that was more important than anything else, because the rest we can improvise. So let's start with the skirt first. That seems to be the easiest, and I'm going to use some of my red and a little burnt sienna. That way I can create some shadows and then put on the highlights after. So we got some burnt sienna and yellow. Sorry, red. Okay. And then we can add that here. It's a nice color because we can, you know, add some shadows and highlights. A little bit of burnt sienna. There we go. Just follow the pattern that you drew. And that helps a lot. The reason I did the pattern on this one is because I wanted to save time. If I draw it freehand, it'll take up part of the video, probably half an hour. So I'm just going to speed it up, and that way, because you have more time than I do, you can try your freehand. And you can use the grid method that I showed you in my other video. So there we go. Might need 2 coats. Might want to soften up those edges there a little bit. Just go around that corner there. And use the chiseled edge to get the edge. So get a nice straight edge there. That's a nice beginning. So like I always say, you gotta start somewhere. Chiseled edges are really good for getting those straight lines. See, each part that we did so far took us a couple of minutes. Didn't take very long at all. But now the tree and the presents might take a little longer, but most of this is, so far it's been pretty fast. Just use a small flat brush. You can use whatever you're comfortable with. You don't have to necessarily have a little tiny brush, but use whatever works for you. Now, for the fur along here, along the bottom of the skirt, I'm going to use a bristle because I want to tap, tap, tap. Remember, I always say, because I want to tap, 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 I always use a bristle so I can get that texture. So I'm going to use, I want to get a shadowy color first. I'm going to add a little blue to my white so I can get a shadow color. A little tiny bit of red, just for shadow, okay? And a little bit of white. So mostly blue and white. Put a little bit of red. That's a nice shadowy color. So that'll be kind of dark, but that's going to be our shadow. So let's just tap, tap, tap that on there. And see how the bristles make it come out on the ends? They're like the little fluffy parts of that trim. And that's how you get that fluffy look. See? See, it already gives, if you had your chiseled edge brush, you wouldn't get that nice fluffy look. And then we'll put the white on top of that. It'll look even fluffier again. It's pretty, isn't it? Now, see how nice and fluffy that looks? I'm going to add some white. It's not dry yet, but we might put some highlights on after it dries. So I'm just putting white on my brush. And I'm going into the pure white because my brush is dirty and that will pick up some of those shadow colors. All right, so just gonna tap, tap, tap right back over what we did, but don't lose all the underpainting. All right, see how I'm just tapping very gently, and I'm keeping some of that underpainting. And you should be able to keep some of it because your brush is wet, the underpainting is wet, so it's going to come through anyway, but don't get all blobs. Just tap, tap, tap and miss a few spots. Your brush should miss a few spots anyway because it's spread open, see? So that will help. That's why you need this kind of brush. Always have a bristle brush on hand for grass and foliage. Alright, so I'm going to keep tapping that on there. I'm reloading with white, but like as you can see, just tapping over a little bit, not much. Now, we'll keep adding white to that, but not right now. We'll wait for it to dry a little bit and then we will add some more white, because we keep doing that. We can keep adding white as much as we want. You can keep doing it over and over and over, but while it's still wet, you're not going to get much highlights going on there, because see how it just turns back into the blue. All right, so wait for that to dry and then we will go in with more white, and that will give it a nice fluffy look. So while we're waiting for that to dry, so we're waiting for this to dry, we're waiting for that to dry, now we can work on the legs, and that way we'll get it all ready. We'll go one step at a time. Now, you're going to need a small flat brush for this. Don't use a round brush. I wouldn't say, because a round brush, you need something with a chiseled edge. See? When you turn it this way, you can barely see it. So use your red. So we'll go with the red and then we will add the white. So what we'll do is, you can go either way. You can add the white first and then the red, or whichever way you want to go, okay? So now this is going to be a little bit tricky, because now you got to get into those lines. So pick a spot where you want to start. I'm going to start at the bottom of the feet because this up here is wet. My hand might get into it, so at least this is dry down here. So I'm just going to start at the feet. And this person is standing on their tippy toes. You got the lines there to help guide you. That's one. So in anything in between, all the in between, okay, start that again. So in between these reds are going to be white. So it might take a few extra minutes for you to do, but it'll be fun and it'll turn out nice. If you end up going outside the lines, we can always adjust that after. Don't worry too much. Just take your time. Take advantage of chiseled edge. Okay, use your little finger to hold your hand up. See, just see how I'm pointing my finger out? That's my little stick. I'll use that for my little stick. All right. So, I would suggest that you sit down when you're doing this, because when you're standing up like me, it's hard to get in between those lines. So any details that are really hard to do, to get at or tedious, sit down and do your painting, because it's so much easier. This might need a second coat if you want to really brighten up those reds. Now those lines should line up with each other so that the stripes, the red stripes, are lining up from this one and this one. There we go. So now when that dries, I would say let that dry first and then add your white. Now we can go back to the skirt while we're waiting for that to dry. So you can go back and forth as long as you know you could even go over and start the tree if you wanted to, and then come back to that when it all dries. So it's up to you where you can move around, whatever makes you happy. I'm going to add some shadow color to my red. It's a bit of burnt sienna and red and burnt sienna, and I'm going to get darker color. I'm going to decide where I want some shadows. So I'm thinking here. Just a matter of bringing down some strips of paint. There we go. When we do the highlights, I'll show them up better. So now we will add some red on either side of those. So we'll add red. So just pure bright red. See if you got a color there called brilliant red or bright red. If you want to really make, oh, oops, I'm on the side here. I'm standing up and I leaned over a little bit by accident. Sorry about that. Oh, that's all right. So if you really want to brighten up a little bit, you can add some yellow to your red. That'll brighten it up somewhat without turning it too orangey, okay? So that'll brighten it up a bit better. As long as you don't add too much yellow, and then you'll end up in a nice bright red. See, without turning it orange. Or if you add white, you're going to get pink, so you don't want that either. Just want to brighten up our red. So you can keep adding yellow, and then when you see it starting to turn orange, then you can stop adding it. Right? Just add a little tiny bit at a time, see? Just a little bit. See how it's brightening it up? But it's not turned orange yet. A lot of people say, how can I brighten up my red without turning it pink? And that's one way. I don't know if I know any other ways. Well, there is another way. And the other way to brighten up your red paint really, really, really bright is to paint white underneath it. Will be your underpainting, and when you paint it white, then when that dries, you can start adding your reds, and they'll be really, really bright. The reason they're a little bit dark is because the background is a little dark, not much, but in some cases, if your background's really dark, your red won't brighten up. So there we go. See, it looks like it's got pleats, or you know. Keep adding orange, keep adding yellow until, you know, as soon as you see it turning it too orangey, then stop adding it. But you can keep adding it till it brightens up your red. See, it's still brightening it, but it's still not orange yet. See, it's not orange yet. So just keep adding that yellow until it brightens up really nice. See how I'm getting some highlights there now? Kind of put them right on the top. And you can use yellow for a highlight, as long as you don't put it in all the skirt, but you can use it for a highlight at the top here if you want. See, that kind of brings it out a bit better. It's nice, isn't it? You can do as many coats as you want. And go right into yellow itself and add it as a highlight. So it won't look orange, but it'll look like a highlight, see? Little tricks of the trade. That's why I like to give you tips. I like to always try to add tips to my painting tutorials, and or I do tutorials and just tips that you can use in all your paintings, and I got a few coming up that I think you'll really like. So that's kind of nice, isn't it? So it doesn't look like it's an orange skirt, it looks like it's a red skirt with highlights, see? And I'm just using only yellow now, because we brightened it up before, and now we're just adding a little bit on the corners and a little bit on top and a little bit on the corners, just to kind of bring it out a bit better, you know. The more you layer your paint, the better. So you got 3 values there. You got your dark, medium. You actually got 4. You got your dark, medium, and then the light, and then your highlight. Your highlight, the lightest light you're going to use. That can be your 4th value. So let's put some more white in to this fluffy little skirt. Let's see if mine's not quite dry, but I'm going to get my little bristle brush and I'm going to see how to spread open. See, that's what you want, right? So that way you don't get blobs, and it helps. The brush will do the work for you then, see? And then you won't have to worry too much about covering up what's underneath. Alright, see? So if your paint is still wet and you're having a hard time getting it, give you those white highlights, then wait till it dries. Try not to get blobs, try to get so that you are getting those blues coming through underneath. I have to reload every time I go to a new spot. Alright. That's kind of nice. Whatever is left over on my brush, I'm not going to get any more paint now. I'm just going to bring it down to the bottom. Now, depending on how white you want it, you can add more highlights after it dries. Again, that's looking nice. Nice. Now, if this is dry here, you can try your white. So just pure white for now. Alright, so good. if you want to, you can add a little tiny shade of blue with your white. So there's really, really white, but a hint of blue. So I just put a little bit too much there, so right there. Okay, just see, it's barely, you can barely see it. But if you take that and you add that here on the edges, it'll make her leg look round. Okay, so you can just add that to the edges. Just to give it little shadows on the ends here so that the center is brighter. There we go. So that little hint of blue on the edges there, you can see the difference already. It makes the leg look round. So we're going to do a second coat on those legs to brighten up the red, bring it kind of a pinkish color. So our second coat will brighten up the red, and then our second coat of the white will put the white in the centers to make it look more round. I'll show you what I'm talking about now. So for second coat on the socks, we will add red and white, so we can get a pinkish color, okay? So it won't be yellow this time because we're not going for orange, we're going for kind of a pinkish, but we're going to use this lighter color to brighten up the reds so there's not too much. So I'm going to leave some of the dark, and I'm just going to put this on the top of that toe. Okay, so I'm going to leave some of that dark on the bottom, and I'm going to put this pink in the center of those reds to do the same thing, to make it look round. So just adding that highlight in the center. So you can see how it brings it out more. It gives it more of a round look to the foot and the leg. Just going to add a little bit on the edge here, just to bring out those heels a bit, and a little bit, not much, just to bring them out a bit more, let you know where the socks are. And if you want, and then you can clean off your brush and then go back to the white and do the same with the white socks, just in the center, pure white. Now let's try our Christmas tree. So get your sap green or whatever color green you want. I'm just going to get a really dark green. Okay, it's almost really, really dark. So I'm going to add some burnt sienna, yellow, and red to my blue, and more yellow because I want to make sure it's green. Alright, so see how dark it is? That's actually a dark. Add more yellow and that way you get turn it a bit more green. Let's just do that first. Alright, so the tree is, seems kind of big, so we'll kind of give it a tap, tap, tap. Just pretend it's coming out. I need to get some branches out, so just tap out. In the center is not so bad. You can just tap around, decide how far down you want to come, and then you can just tap out. Let me get some branches hanging down here. Picture a Christmas tree. Now I got some bulbs here. I'm going to cover them up. That's okay. Just trying to get a shape for a tree first. There we go. So you can get a small flat brush and or a round brush even if you want to draw out some boxes here for like presents or something. So start off with any color you want. Maybe some, try a white one first. So all we really need is front of the box. As if it's a, and you just fill that in. We'll do another one. Just to have some boxes there. I'm going to do them in white because we're going to paint them another color, but we need the shapes first. So I'm just making little squares and rectangles, okay, just so I can get something there. Okay. Overlap some. Lots of presents. Let's see if we can put some bows on these. So it looks a little more like a present. So all I'm doing is I'm taking some whatever color paint you want to wrap it up in. I'm just taking some yellow and white so it'll stand out a bit. I'm deciding where I want my bows. So it's the same as if you're wrapping presents for Christmas. You try to come up with a way to wrap it up pretty. So to say, let's just take this. And if your head is steadier than mine, that would be great. So we're just going to take some white ribbon, or yellow, or whatever you want to put on it. Wrap it around the top here. I'm not very good at wrapping presents, even for real. So, just making these little, as if it's a bow on top. Just touch and pull over. It's cute. Go around that corner there, straight out. Yeah, that could be the corner. That's cute. And let's see. Maybe a red bow on a green present. So we'll bring it down here. Leave the center open for a bow. Okay, add some yellow or white to your grid to brighten it up if you like. Over. So it's like 4. Okay, so 4 straight lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we will make a little bow in the center, which is just dots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Add a little white so you can see it. Maybe it's a little bit in the middle, dot in the middle there. That's all. That looks like a present, see? Cool. So cute. Maybe a blue one. But first of all, I want to do a second coat on some of these because I'm just waiting for this to dry until I do another coat. There we go. I might add a bit of white to that to make it more opaque. There we go. It's better. Add white to your paints if they're too transparent. That'll make it more opaque. It's not too hard. It's nice. The one in the back there is orangey, isn't it? Just add red and yellow, or just pick up an orange. If you have orange, you can make your own orange, or you can buy orange. want to say that's the front. And if it's the front, you can leave the front a brighter color. That'll give you a shape of it turned that way. And then the back can be a darker color. Here like this. That make it look like it's turned that way, see? And then we can put something, a bow or something on that, or some kind of, we'll wait for that to dry. And we're gonna go white, nice white bow. This white bow needs a little bit of a highlight. This ribbon, I should say. Leave a little shade in there. So we could take some pure white, maybe make a white bow on this one here. So we'll wrap it up this way. And we will, I need to add more paint here because this kind of needs a second coat, I think. You can use burnt sienna with some white, or you can pick up some metallic color, something shiny. You know, you can add glitter, whatever you want to do, as if you had some real presents here. So all it is some squares and then some straight lines to make it look like ribbons. But I don't have a steady hand, so you'll see sometimes things are a little crooked. I'm going to take some red and burnt sienna, and I want to try to make a little bit of a lid here. There we go. That's good. way I can have a nice flower on top of that one, or a nice ribbon, I should say. What color ribbon can we put on there? Let's see, maybe a dark one. Dark blue. Let's put a dark blue ribbon on that one. Just a small round brush. Small round brush and some blue. We'll put nice blue ribbon on there. Just going to make two big and another one out here and another one out here. So it's almost like a little butterfly, isn't it? So you touch and pull in, touch and pull in, and then pull out from the center. Alright, pull out or pull in, doesn't matter, whatever's comfortable for you. You got a little ribbon. We'll highlight that in a second, and then we will take it out here as if it's going down around inside the box. And then we have some coming over here. Looks just like the way I actually wrap presents. Messed up. Oh boy. That's okay. And we'll take a little bit down here. There we go. And we'll take some white and lay it on the edges here so you can see that. A little bit of highlight there. Good. Makes it look like the box is forward, doesn't it? You can't see the other side, going down around the other side. So it gives it that illusion that the box is forward. It looks like a little box, right? So it gives them kind of all these shapes of different types of boxes. So let's see, what else can we do? Put a nice red. Clean off your brush and let's put a little white one up here. See, all I'm doing is making these four little, that's cute. Make another little box out of this one. If you want to add stripes and polka dots and all kinds of different types of boxes, you certainly can do that. Just some white, that's all. That's cute. And so we got a little box in here. We could probably put a little bow on top of there. Probably a little yellow bow would be nice. Let's do the same thing, just touch and pull in. Touch and pull in. I'm pulling out because I'm standing up in an odd position. Always got an excuse, don't I? So a bit of white on the edges here. Whoops. When I say whoops, that means I made a mistake. Look out here, just to say that there's a ribbon up there, maybe some wrapping around here. There we go. Don't need a big lot there. So I'm going to add something here, probably some more yellow and white. I'm just going to add some of the squiggly ones. I like those little cute little squiggly ones. Just going around circles with my brush. Just tap, tap, tap a little bit of it. Pretend bow there. So whatever you think, use your imagination. Don't follow everything I'm doing. Get into So I use I'm gonna give this one here a little more color. It's kind of dull, isn't it? Just give it a second coat. Some red and a bit of yellow maybe to brighten it up a little bit. Let's just put in some shadow. Just use red and blue, and this should do it. Just a little bit of shadows there. Kind of bring it together. Whoops, that was all wet. Okay, well that looks good. Nice and dark. Yeah, I'll use that. That's a happy accident. Hey, Yvette. Yvette knows what I'm talking about. Happy accidents. When you make a mistake and you like what happened. Cool. Alright, so. Good. Now I'm going to add white so I can, I'm going to add, let me see, what was I doing before? A bit of white and burnt sienna to bring back some of our floor. So if you lose some of your floor, just put some of it back in. So, okay. See how you can play with it and just do whatever you want? Now I know that some artists approach their paintings different ways, and I kind of am a bit loose in what I do, and I have fun. I have fun doing what I'm doing. See? Needs a little more shadow under here to match. Just add a little more blue to my red. Gotta get some shadow under her feet too. See, the shadows they ground you. They ground things. You know what I mean? They look more like they're not floating in the air. Sometimes it'll look like it's floating in the air if you don't have shadows. So that grounds it. See? Now she looks like she's standing on the floor. Shadows look nice, don't they? Maybe show a little bit. I know the reference photo I'm using doesn't have all these shadows and things, so I like adding my own imagination. And you might say, well, how do you know where the shadows go? Well, sometimes you can go by the light, where the light is coming in. And other times you kind of just think, where would those shadows, the tree is pretty big, so it's probably creating some shadows on the floor, right? So, go back over, if you got any extra lines there that you didn't use, just put some, I'm going to add a little highlight there too. See, shadows and highlights really add to your painting. Gives it a really nice effect. So there we go. It's pretty. I think I'm just going to play around with that tree a little bit. I think I'm going to give it a little bit of, just use some dark green like you're using already. Let's give it a few little edges. You know, if you don't have enough there, you can always add a few extras. You don't have to. If it looks fine, if you're happy with it, don't do it. Right? Just doing a few things to show you, you know, what you could do if you wanted to. They almost look pretty good the way they are. My brush did that without me even having to do anything. Great if you just want a few extras though. Just using my liner brush to bring out some little pine needles, is it? Pine needles. There we go. Now let's decorate the tree. First of all, we'll put a few highlights on it. Just a pale green. Just add some green and yellow together to lighten it up. I'll just add a few little highlights. Might need a little bit of white to get it to brighten up. This will help you get a little more detail. If you want to get a little more detail in your tree, you can just add these little strokes like this, and that will highlight some of those branches and leaves and whatever Christmas tree is made out of, and give you kind of a look of a more detailed tree. You see I'm only doing a little bit here and there, and I'm not, I'm not putting it everywhere, just basically highlights. All right, now, let's see what we can do. Let's see, I'm gonna add white. I'm gonna try candy cane. I'm gonna put a candy cane right here. Put a couple in. So all it is white paint, and then around and down. Another one over here. Don't need a big load of them, but it's nice to have a few there. And when they dry, we'll be able to put our little stripes on there. I'm just using a round brush, but you can use whatever brush is comfortable for you. Not a bristle brush though. Even a small flat brush, filbert brush should work. And we'll add some Christmas tree lights. How about some yellow? I don't know if you want big bulbs or little bulbs. Yellow and white. So we'll go yellow and white if you like. So here, let's do all the yellow and white ones that we're going to do, and then we'll go and do another color. Just put on your bulb, just a round circle. Just yellow and white. I'm not even mixing it, okay? A lot's on there. It's going around the circle, that's all. And the white helps to make it more opaque. Okay. And now we'll put on some red ones. Okay, so yellow and some red or pink. Maybe pink would be nice. It's a nice color. So really load your brush. I'm using a red round brush, and I'm loading it up really good because when I touch and go around, you need a lot of paint for that to come off, see? Around and around. That quick. Isn't that cute? Maybe we'll do some little dots of color. Some little ones there too. Whatever colors you want. Maybe there's a little blue, maybe there's something hanging over here. Another one hanging over here. Maybe there's a red one or pink one hanging over here. So whatever colors you want, mix your colors together if you want. Put some blues and reds together, some white. See? And then you might have a little top on that that's hanging on the branch there. going to take some white, dab that on there just so that it looks like that's good. And then I'm going to add my red stripes. Okay. Might have to wait for that to dry a bit first. So, that's cute. Okay, so this one here that I made a mess, you can just take that out in the center there, take that out, and then just add some white to fix it up. It's better. So you can fix things up, you know, like have another look and see what you don't like, and then you can just take it out and put something back in there, you know. That's better, see? Anything at all that you need to fix, just do it. Do it, do it, do it. So I'm thinking you could add a few more bits of white to that. Little dots of white that will help bring it out even more. So that's it. You know, you can clean up the areas that you want to clean up, like this part here. I think may be nice if you had a burnt sienna, I think is what I had. And mostly white. Mostly white, a little bit of burnt sienna. And I cleaned it up a little bit, kind of. You get that pencil mark off there, you can go over that. Or whatever mark you made when you were drawing it on there. Go. So I think that's it. I think it's a cute little painting. It's not too hard, you know, it's a little tedious in some places, but it's still nice, you know. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions. You can subscribe if you're not already subscribed.